If someone says cage fighting, what do you think of? Blood-soaked fights to the death, best left to thugs and psychopaths? A grisly pursuit that US Senator John McCain once called human cockfighting? Well, mixed martial arts, or MMA, the combined fighting style used by professional cage fighters, is now one of the fastest growing sports in the UK and is increasingly being marketed not just as an effective way of improving one's self-defence, but as the best exercise money can buy.
It seems to be growing at an exponential rate. 10 years ago, there was probably about 20 small groups of guys training on mats, training in their garages sort of up and down the country, and travelling around the world, trying to learn bits of martial arts from here and there. And now we're estimating there's probably about sort of 200 dedicated MMA gyms in the UK. But also I think what's really striking is the fact that you've got commercial enterprises, people like Virgin, Gymbox, Fitness First, who now seem to run MMA classes, MMA fit classes, and of 22 university groups now involved as well.
Heavy marketing and regularly televised fights have moved MMA from fight clubs to evening classes. The sport's now shrugging off its early reputation for lawless street fighting in underground car parks, to the extent that it's now the bread and butter of respectable gyms like this one in central London.
MMA has been on a massive incline for quite a while. And one of the things that's really good about MMA, especially the top promotions and stuff like that, very good at marketing fighters and very good at marketing the sport itself. And one of the big things, like in the very beginning, was the popularity on the internet, and it really kind of grew up with the internet itself.
MMA is based on 4 martial arts: boxing, Thai kickboxing, wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, an offshoot of judo being taught at this class. The idea is to learn how to fight both on your feet and down on the floor, and how to make the transition from one to the other so that you're always in control.
I've done a bit of fighting when I was younger. I competed with that up to a national level. I progressed into amateur boxing, and then I just loved the fighting arts. So MMA was just a way to just sort of combine, sort of like the styles to make your own perfect style.
It just covers everything that I need, because I'm not much of a gym person. I can't stand there and just do mind-numbing workouts. For me, it's quite engaging, it's intelligent, you have to be quite focused. Not everyone is from a martial arts background. Everyone has their own lives, different professions, such as accountants, banks, students, civil servants. Everyone from different walks of life can train here.
I've come to an industrial estate in Chesham, on the outskirts of London, to meet Alex Reid, one of the most famous names in MMA in the UK, to learn a few tricks of the trade about the sport. Alex Reid has been a professional MMA fighter for 14 years, taking part in dozens of fights, both pro and amateur.
So when I'm in a cage, fighting another guy who wants to try and take my head off, weirdly, it's peaceful. All I've got to worry about is that one person. Yeah, I mean, that's stressful, but it's kind of like refreshing. It's like, oh, is that all I've got? Yeah, I'm panicking and I'm scared because of that, but then it's lovely. It's like meditation.
I've been learning Kung Fu for a couple of years, so while Reid and I were standing up, I felt reasonably capable of handling what he threw at me, though I admit he wasn't trying his hardest. But MMA fighters spend a lot of time on the ground, seeking a victory either by choking, hyperextending a limb, leaving your opponent submitting before something breaks, or gaining a positional advantage that makes your opponent so vulnerable that the referee has to end the contest. So a natural puncher and kicker still has to learn wrestling and jiu-jitsu, while a fighter who's happier on the ground won't last long if they can't deal with a kickboxer's game.
There's quite a common misconception that people who cage fight, in fact I don't even like the term fight, because I don't even consider it a fight. 2 consenting adults playing a sport. It's a bit rough, yeah, you can get hurt, but it's no more rougher to me than rugby. I detest violence, and the misconception is that we're all thugs. The guys at the highest level are supreme athletes in every area.
The anything goes, no holds barred phase of MMA has been replaced by a far more regulated combat sport. And as fitness fanatics realise the benefits of mixing punching, kicking and grappling as an all-round workout, mixed martial arts is going mainstream. It would be foolish to pretend that a novice could hope to step inside a cage and escape serious injury. But the international rules mean that a novice could never get that far. You need to have earned your stripes before you have any hope of facing a professional. So before I step into the cage, I think I'll have a few more lessons.
Madness going on.
Barney Thompson, Financial Times, London.